to go to the executive officer expenses on page 105 next. So this was proposed by Sophie.
Hello again. Just sort of going to start with thanking Dane and Rachel for organising this council. The last couple of councils there's always been someone around who's done it before, and they've done it this time without any help. I think it would have helped them if perhaps as the UHISA executive had more say in their own travel expenses and perhaps more input in the process. Also, I think that it would help to develop the UHISA officers if they were able to just say, oh, there's an LGBT event or a disabled event or some other kind of event happening. I think I should go to that. Or I met someone here at Student Council. There was some good points. I'd like to go and visit them and to be able to discuss that with other executive officers, to approve that amongst the other executive officers, and to decide that amongst themselves. The current setup is that our paid officers control that budget. They decide who goes where and who does what. And I think that if we take that power, it will empower the executive officers to help make their help develop them for when they, because many of them will move on to the sabbatical roles. And I think it could actually assist our sabbatical officers who already have to do an inordinate amount of work, and also it'll help empower us and help develop us. Thank you.
Thanks, Scotty. Right. Okay. Is there any points of clarification? We have amendments and parts for this one. It's going to be delightful. So, yeah, point of clarification.
I have two that I'd just like to question on. One is that, like, executive officers have never been told to come to student council.
Sorry, Kat.
Executive officers have never been told that there's enough money for them to come to student council. But like that's
student council wasn't the issue.
But you did mention that at the start. And the second one is the advisory subcommittee. That advisory subcommittee would be restricted, I would assume, to meetings where that subcommittee would meet. So events are...
No, it doesn't say that.
Well, then it wouldn't be a subcommittee. It would just be some people...
On point 5, it says either by a formal meeting or a quick approval over email, telephone. And Melissa quite often has to email us when a decision is made quickly. It's a fairly common practice.
Yeah, but I just think that, like, as a subcommittee, as like a group, it would have to meet regularly. I don't know if events really correspond with that, and also I don't know what would that officer just not get to go if there wasn't enough people in the subcommittee to decide who to check their emails for 2 days.
Yeah, my point of clarification is in the same thing. How would this work with if you had, because you're saying a quick email or telephone, but if there's a whole subcommittee of like 4 or 5 people, wouldn't that be quite tricky to get all 4 or 5 of them to all quickly by email say yes or no? I don't see how it's workable.
Or then you really need plus you're looking at 2 or 3. You're looking at 3 then, I suppose. So.
Okay, I'm aware that the amendments are starting to touch on some of the issues that were coming up, so we're going to move on to the amendments now. I think I'm going to go. I think if we do this one first, because I think some of us might have an impact.
I think that one's first.
Okay, right. Okay, fair enough. Yeah. So if Rachel can read out the first amendment, please.
Yeah. So this amendment is to remove UHISA believes for factual inaccuracies and insert UHISA's financial statement for the year ended 31st of July 2013 showed that last year, 2012-13, UHISA overspent its income by £9,057, reducing its spendable reserves from 20,404 to 11,347 over the course of the year. UHISA's budget for executive travel and subsistence was £6,000, which was overspent by £904. This was a total increase in spending of 75% on executive travel over what was spent in the 2011-12 financial year.
Okay, that is the amendment we're going to discuss first. Does anybody want to speak in favour of that amendment?
I do, because I wrote
it. Yeah.
And I can explain it.
Do you mind going up there for VC?
Yes. This amendment would replace the statement that says people were refused funding because of an underspend in the budget. I want you all to turn to page 65 of your thing, which is the end of your accounts, which is done by an independent. This was an independent audit, so these numbers are numbers that are set in stone. These are the facts, pure and simple, and that's exactly what I've written this amendment from. You'll see that there's a breakdown of a 75% increase. I'm taking into account the overspend, and I think that it is misleading to say that there was an underspend in this budget code, and therefore I would like that to be noted in the motion, just so everyone is aware that that isn't really actually factually accurate.
Which page?
You go to page 69. Actually, yeah, 69 and probably 69 and 73 have the 72 have the numbers on them.
Okay.
Yes.
Any points of clarification for Dane? Yeah.
I just can't find where he's saying the underspend.
We're trying to remove the underspend because there was an overspend.
Sorry, yeah. On the motion itself, there says there is an underspend. That's factually inaccurate. We overspent our actual grant income. We had reserves, so it was fine, and we intended to work down the reserves, but that shouldn't be classified as an underspend.
Okay.
In addition, it's impossible to actually calculate your expenditure because if you try to hit exactly to go through exactly the amount of money you have, you can't do it because you never know exactly how much you're going to spend until. So you always have to have a very small buffer just in case things are more expensive than you expect to get you through to the beginning of the next financial year. There has to be at least a small amount of rollover.
Thanks, Dane. I'm going to keep everything for 30 seconds from here on in, by the way, because I want this on through before we finish, and there's loads of complications to this. So, have we got a 30-second speech against this amendment? No? In that case, unless you've got any further comments, but I think the problem been resolved, Dane. Yep, we'll go to a vote on this amendment. So, everybody in favour of the amendment? Nine.
19.
28.
Fabulous. Against, please? Anybody? No? Abstaining?
1.
One. Does that mean that we drop below quorum as well for this?
No, some people are just choosing.
Oh, okay. You have to, but we only had it up to
Against or
29.
abstain.
Anyway,
People might choose not to.
Not to do either.
fair enough.
It's in doubt.
In that case, that amendment is passed. We've got another amendment now, so we've got amending 3, if we can do this one next, and then we'll commence that one, please.
Okay, so
She's there.
so it's to remove resolves 1 to 3 and insert. Oh, sorry. To remove all of the resolves and insert 3 new ones. So the resolve would then be to create a working group consisting of the Deputy President, a representative from UHI Finance, and an agreed number of student representatives. The purpose of this working group will be to determine the best course of action regarding executive officer expenses. 2. The conclusions of this working group will be presented to the student body at Student Council in March 2014. 3. To continue encouraging executive members to actively question and challenge the Deputy President about any perceived abuse of the finances during minuted meetings.
So that's the amendment we're going to discuss now. Are there any, Jeff, you've got 30 seconds to speak for this.
Can you let me go to the podium and stand up?
Fine.
1.
3, 2, 1, go.
Okay, for those of you who don't know, I have been IC UHISA Finances, I was last year, and I totally agree that it needs a bit of an overhaul. And I was trying to work with Susan Irvin, who's the UHI finance person, guru, on that, and I've tried to instill that in Dane, and he's obviously taking it on board. I'm just not sure that we should really mandate the Deputy President to lose some of his remit just here and now. So I would urge you to vote for a working group who will be able to present everything back to you in March. Thank you.
Thank you. Hang on. Wait, hold up. Thought. Any points of clarification?
Is there something? Well,
Is it a point of clarification on this specific amendment?
Well, not amendment. It's more of a resolve, no.
So, well, if we could just, because we've got quite a few on this, is it about, if there's anything you want to ask Judith while she's up there about the
No,
amendment
not
itself? Okay, I'll come back to you later when it's like a bit more of a general comment, if that's all right. Okay, thanks. Anyone want to speak against this amendment? 30 seconds. Excellent. Okay, right, let's vote. Everybody happy with the amendment? Please put your hands up.
We didn't think this through.
I've got 10 more.
31.
Thank you. Right, okay, in that case, I think that's all of us. But formally, anybody against?
Formally against the motion?
Against the amendment?
Amendment.
No.
Zero.
And anybody abstaining? I think there are only 31 of us. So.
No.
Grand. Okay. In that case, that amendment is passed. We've got a third amendment now, and it still is relevant given the previous two amendments, isn't it? So, thank you.
So this, it was for the resolve.
Yeah.
Okay. So this would now be to insert a resolve. So this would be number 4. The remaining funds from the termination of the contract for the support assistant should be split between the executive travel budget and the clubs and societies budget, which took a fall in funds this academic year.
Okay, thanks. Kat, 30 seconds.
I will run them. Yeah, basically the Club Society's budget got cut from something like 5,000 to 10,000 or something in that vicinity. We did have a support assistant, but lots of things went wrong with that, and we don't have one anymore, and it's really sad. But basically what I'm saying is that funds should still be as Scotty originally wrote. Some of it should go to the exec, but some of it should also go to our valuable clubs and societies who probably won't have enough money this year otherwise. So yeah.
Okay, any points of clarification on this amendment to Kat? No? Anybody want to speak against this? Yep, 30 seconds.
Yep, valid point. Yes, some of the money should, of the surplus money should go to what we're discussing, which is student expenses. As an executive, we might discuss where other parts of the money should go elsewhere, but that's not what we're discussing here. I think we're confusing the subject by throwing in other categories, and let's just keep on topic.
Thank you. Right, we've got another against, so does anybody want 25 seconds for first?
Rachel, if you want. No,
For. If you want to do 25 seconds for.
I'm just going to do it from here.
Yep.
Basically, well, you wanted to allocate all of the money in your original motion. That was what it said, was to allocate the money to executive travel. Like, if you want to talk about where that money's going, I think we need to really talk about where that money's going. I don't think the clubs and societies are engaged from that because they have expenses as well they need to meet. So, thank you.
Thank you. Right, we're going to do one more against.
Clarification, it was some of the money, it wasn't all of the money.
Okay, noting that clarification, we'll do one against, then we'll.
Okay, the money has been gained from.
Sorry, she's already doing it, don't mind.
The money has been gained from the support assistant no longer needing that salary. The capacity that we've lost through the support assistant needs to be made up in other ways so that we can continue to function properly. We've already been mandated by, we've already had it approved at our executive meeting to get a minute taker who will fulfil part of that role, and we were exploring further how we can then mitigate against the loss of our support assistant, as we're not able to re-employ somebody because we don't have the processes to do that. But putting this money to clubs and societies or to executive travel or to somewhere else, it doesn't mitigate where the money came from. It's for...
Cheers. Right.
Just one quick thing.
10 seconds. Go.
Frankly, I don't think that we can decide where that money should go in this time frame, right now in this room. That needs to be looked at more carefully. So I don't think we should decide where that money should go with this motion.
Thank you very much. Right, okay, we're just going to move to the voting on this amendment specifically. So it's the amendment of the additional resolves being added in. Okay, all those in favour of it being added in? 2.
2.
Oh, I'm sorry. Thank you. All those against, please. Against. 10.
29.
Thank you very much. I think that's all of us. But anybody abstaining? No. Okay, in that case, the amendment is not passed.
I think the part is no longer relevant.
Sorry?
I think the part is no longer relevant.
The part's no longer relevant.
Excellent.
So
Your
we
part
don't
was
need to-
removed 5, which has already been.
Yeah, yeah. So we did have a part, but we don't have that part in the parks now, so we'll ignore that.
Don't need to remove it a second time.
Exactly. So, right, we've done all that. That's really exciting. So we just need to summarise the motion as a whole. So does somebody want to take that on? Yeah, I think that would help. Yeah.
Okay, so UHISA believes 4 has been removed and it's been replaced with UHISA's financial statements for the year ended 31st of July 2013 showed that last year, 2012-13, UHISA overspent its income by £9,057, reducing its spendable reserves from 20,404 to 11,347 over the course of the year. UHISA's budget for executive travel and subsistence was £6,000, which it was overspent by 904. This is a total increase in spending of 75% on executive travel over what was spent in the 2011-12 financial year. And then UHISA resolves have all been removed and they've been replaced with 1. To create a working group consisting of the Deputy President, a representative from UHI Finance and an agreed number of student representatives. The purpose of this working group will be to determine the best course of action regarding executive officer expenses. 2. The conclusions of this working group will be presented to the student body at the Student Council in March 2014. 3. To continue encouraging executive members to actively question and challenge the Deputy President about any perceived abuse, in inverted commas, of the finances during minuted meetings.
Can I just clarify something? Is the UHISA further believes, are they all still in?
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah.
They've all been left in. Yeah. Okay, so it basically as is, but the resolves will change. I think that's the amendments and the further.
It wasn't an underspend, it was an overspend.
Yeah. Okay, right, we'll vote on this now then. So everybody in. Oh yes, yeah.
What I was, say if it was with, say, a subcommittee or however you want to put it, if that's with non-executives, when those non-executives have a PVG tax done, because I think that if you're in charge of movement of money, that you should know any background, because I have had to do corporate theft investigations for very large amounts of money before my last job, and it is extremely, extremely time consuming. So I think that's something that should be added in that there's a subcommittee with non-executives.
Yeah. I think that probably is something for you guys to consider.
That will be discussed by the working group.
So. Okay. So can we have everyone in favour of the motion as it now stands, please?
On VC, could you put your hands up? Okay, that's 4. 1, 2. Oh, sorry. 9.
14.
14, and those against, please.
Against.
7.
4.
4.
11.
11, and anybody abstaining? 2.
3.
5. And there was one on the tenant.
Yeah?
Yes, I think so.
Okay. In that case, the we had 14-4, so the amended motion just passed with the resolves in terms of the working group. So that can be something that you guys take forward over the next few months.